These are octave baritone ukulele strings. They're like a low G tenor ukulele, but tuned down an entire octave, so even lower than that of a baritone. It is honestly like nothing I've ever played before, and here are 5 reasons why I think you should give them a shot. Hello folks, hope you're doing well. My name is Marc Gallagher. I am a professional ukulele player here in England, and I've gone on record before saying I don't really like it when ukulele players restring a baritone ukulele to be tuned GCEA. I believe that doing this kind of takes away the point of having a baritone ukulele, but I do make the exception for when someone does the octave lower version of GCEA, because that's truly different. I've been curious about these strings for a while, but I didn't manage to get my hands on any until I met Perry Stauffer. Perry of Danny and Perry is a wonderful musician and teacher. I met him at the Allegheny Ukulele Soirée in the US this year when we both were at that festival, and he's fantastic. And he made this set, and I was really excited to give them a try. And I thought it would be perfect to utilize the Flight Aviator that I've been loaned by Flight to try these new strings out on. Like I said, these strings are tuned lower than that of a baritone ukulele. If you were to think of it in guitar terms, it is G, C, E, and A as played like this. So now that I've spent a few days with this ukulele and these strings, here are 5 reasons why you should give octave baritone ukulele strings a try. Reason number 1. You don't need to relearn any chord shapes. If you have never played the baritone ukulele before, then your C shape is exactly the same as it would be on an octave string, just an octave lower. But everything that you've played and all the shapes and all the notes that you already know are exactly the same. When people learn regular baritone ukulele, a common difficulty is relearning these chords, because what we know as our C shape is now actually a G chord, and this is mitigated by having the octave set, because that is now a C again. That being said, as someone who plays like tenor ukulele and baritone ukulele interchangeably, this did mess with my brain a little bit, because there were times when I was reaching for some baritone chord shapes only to be surprised that it was not the chord that I wanted. I was going for an A minor only to have it be a D minor, and I was like, wait, that shouldn't happen, but oh no, it's GCEA but just lower, and that's quite an interesting feeling. The way I'd probably liken it to is if you learn to ride a bicycle and then you learn to ride a bicycle with the steering reverse, so steering right turns you left for some reason, and then you get accustomed to that, and then you go back on a regular bicycle and you have to relearn that all again. But otherwise, if you've never played a baritone ukulele before, using these octave strings is a great entry point. Reason number 2 for these octave baritone ukulele strings is using it as a doubler of an existing part. So these strings, they feel almost like flat wounds. They've got a real smooth texture to them, and as such, there's also like a mellower quality to that. So combine this mellow quality with the really low range. I don't think this ukulele necessarily works on its own as a strumming instrument. But in the same way that some guitarists will use a Nashville tuned guitar or a baritone, like, you can do similar things with this octave strung ukulele by having it act as a doubler of an existing part. That's just going to thicken it up more. It'll sound like this. Therefore, while it may not necessarily sound perfect on its own, if you were playing in an ensemble and you played the same part as everyone else but just an octave lower, that's going to create so much thickness in your group. Reason number 3 for these strings is for the use of fingerpicking. Like most baritones, I believe this ukulele, or at least this ukulele string set, really benefits from having a lighter touch, and when you fingerpick, it sounds wonderful, quite honestly. You already heard how it sounded when it was strummed on its own, but when you start to pick this instrument, it's quite mellow but quite charming as well, and that's something I find quite endearing. Reason number 4 for these ukulele strings is for use in bossa nova, and that sounds really weird, but hear me out. So this ukulele is tuned really low, especially when you figure it in guitar terms. But a really important thing for guitar is that, yes, you've got 6 strings, but you don't necessarily need to play all 6 strings all the time. You can sometimes just pick like 3 notes of a given chord and you'll still say what you need to say. And that can be a really charming thing with what makes some bossa nova work, is they will take just the lowest notes out of a chord, some of the muddiest stuff that we would consider if it was hammered in. But the way that we pick around those, it makes for something really nice. And when I played through Girl from Ipanema on this octave baritone ukulele, it was really quite something. And finally, reason number 5 as to why you should give these ukulele strings a shot is because of the inspiration it can give you. I'm very lucky. I play lots of instruments. Yes, I play ukulele, guitar, bass, saxophone, and piano, but I play like different instruments in and around this. With ukulele, I play main uke, baritone uke, and now this octave strings. For guitar, I've got 10 electric guitars, each that have their own sound. And by having these different tools at my disposal in my little toolkit, this just allows me to play for the gear that I have and play towards it. And by playing these really low strings, it just inspires me to play in a different way than I necessarily would have played with my other ukulele sets. And that's been quite wonderful to be challenged and to be inspired and to approach the instrument that I've been playing for 15 years coming up to in a totally different way. And I find that just really, really nice. And I think you would find it nice too. And it was through playing these ukulele strings made by Perry Stauffer that I kind of figured out his arrangement of Salisbury Hill by Peter Gabriel that Perry himself played at the Allegheny Ukulele Soirée. And that's a nice little full circle moment for me. And it just reminds me, I guess, of the beauty of experimentation, of inspiration, and, opening your eyes to new things in music. And there you go, those are 5 reasons why you should give octave ukulele strings a shot. Massive thank you to Perry Stauffer for giving me a pack of these strings. It was a pleasure to have met and played with you in Pennsylvania. Thank you so much. There are other sets available, but you can get Perry's set on starlightukes.com, I believe. Whether you are an individual performer or you play in a group or you are just looking for something a little bit different, these octave strings are really quite something special. Thank you so much to my supporters on Patreon who've helped make this possible. You can also support me on Patreon, patreon.com/Marc Gallagher Music. You can also follow me on your social media of choice at Marc Gallagher Music, Mark with a C. Hopefully I'll catch you guys there. Until next time, my name is Marc Gallagher. Like the video if you want, share if you feel compelled to, and follow me on places. I'll catch you down the road.